students, welcome to the tutorial for app number 4. App number 4 is a creation of a menu of 4 buttons that changes the image of the button. So if we were to go to German Shepherd, we would get a photo of the German Shepherd, Golden Retriever, and Border Collie. So the homework for app 4 is doing exactly the same thing but using another category. Right now I'm using the category dog breeds, and you would use anything from food types, types of car, whatever you'd like, or your hobbies or pastimes. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is have 4 images that are going to be here in your image menu and name them accordingly. So for purpose of coding things easier, I named them just one word, no spaces, and it doesn't matter if they're JPEG or PNG images. So let's open up a new Xcode project. So new project. It's always going to be project, and it's always going to be a single view app. I'm going to name it app 4 underscore and my ID. I'm going to create it here in documents. And we're greeted with this thing. I'm going to change right now to iPhone SE, easiest to run, and I'm going to head over to my main.storyboard. So this is my view controller. Change this as well to an iPhone SE, and we don't need this nor this. Perfect. So the first thing we're going to need to do is going to add one object that will reflect the image we want to be shown when we click the image. So we're going to go to the utilities pane and look for image view. Click and drag, and there we go. So whenever we click one of the 4 buttons we're going to create right now, button, UI image view will show the image we want. And we're going to code that in 1 minute. So we're going to create 4 buttons. So this one's going to be the first one, Airedale Terrier, my dog actually. And let's change this to a black and put some background color to it. Make it nicer. So this is my button. Let's copy and paste it. Since I don't have any connections right now, I can just copy and paste the format without any repercussions. And copy and paste them. Here we have the German Shepherd dog, the Border Collie, and lastly the Golden Retriever. Perfect. We can close the utilities pane for now. Okay, so we haven't added our images. As you remember, when you create a new project, you're going to be greeted with a main folder that contains other subfolders and subfiles. We're going to go to the assets folder. Assets folder contains all images and media that your project will have. And we have to go to your images that you've downloaded or gotten off the internet or whatever, and we're going to click and drag them to the assets folder. Perfect. We're going to go back to the main storyboard. We can click image view, open up the utilities pane, and we can even put a default image. So I'm going to put default the Airedale. And as you can see, it's kind of constrained, so we're going to change it to aspect fill. Perfect. There we go. I'm going to close the utilities pane. We don't need it right now. We're going to go to the code now. Okay, so always remember to check if it's in automatic mode. You always want it in automatic mode, viewing the view controller. And all our code, as you remember, is going to be below the class view controller, as it's the code that's going to run whenever we run the view controller. So I'm going to create some space here for my code and start making my connections. So my first connection is with the image object. It's going to be an outlet, and I'm going to call it image dogs. I mean, it's just a category of my images. And just connect. Okay. And now I have to connect my 4 buttons. Always remember, for a button it's an action, since we want an action to occur once we click it. And I'm going to name it button Airedale. Always remember as well to use camel case. It's a standard for any programming language. And always remember to put on UI button. Any doesn't work, so always check that. And connect. Let's repeat this process for the other 3 dogs. Action, button German, UI button, connect. Border collie is an action, button border, UI button. And lastly, the golden retriever, action, button golden. Type, UI button. Perfect. So if we were to scroll down, we can see our connections. One connection for our image view and for our 4 buttons. Perfect. So now we need to enter code inside here, telling the Xcode what to do when the user clicks the button. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this object. We named it image dogs, so we're going to put image dogs dot image, as it's an image, and we're going to set it equal to UI image, and which image is going to be named, and whatever we named it, Airedale. I remember I named the file Airedale. Perfect. So now I can copy and paste this code and just change the name of the dogs. This one's going to be German. Border. And lastly, the golden. Okay. Perfect. So if you hadn't noticed by now, whenever we run our code, it's going to run in the emulator for the iPhone, and our code is, the app icon is going to be blank. So there's a way to change this, and it's right back in the assets folder. If we were to go to the assets and click app icon, we're greeted with a lot of different blank places where our image would be for our app icon, because there are different pixelations and sizes for our app icons, if it's on iPhone, on iPad, and which type of iPad, and all those things. So there's a really easy way to change the pixelation of your image, so you have the different levels of the iPhone and iPad levels. So we're gonna go to download Icon Set Creator in the App Store. It's totally free and super lightweight. To open it up, and here you just have to drag your artwork. So I chose here this image as my icon, and I'm just gonna have to download it. Just move it here and click go. I'm gonna save it in my desktop. Perfect. And open this. It's this folder. And this is all the different versions of my icon. I'm gonna select them and drag them. Perfect. So as you can see, it has some levels of the app, not all. Like this one's, there are errors. They couldn't be scaled to that size. So we're just gonna ignore that error. And we're gonna go back to main.storyboard. Okay, so let's try running our code now. So right off the bat we have one error code. These yellow error codes let your app run, but they're still telling you that, oh, we found an error. So this error is probably the icons, the ones that could not be processed. Let's see if we get our app running. One thing to note, always, if you have an error, always check your connections right here. Check if there's a double connection by right-clicking the buttons, or any object. In fact, we have one connection with button Airedale, that's correct. With German Shepherd, one button connection with Border Collie, and one button connection with Retriever. If for some reason the connection breaks, you can just click here and drag there back, so you reestablish that connection. So you know there's no connection when the little dot in the center is not there anymore. And you can even check outlet connections. So we have it 1 image docs. That's perfect. Also check that there are the same amounts of opening brackets as closing brackets. Those are the 2 typical errors we can see. So our app runs. Let's try it. There we go. Changes the images perfectly. Now we have to take a screenshot of our code visible, our view controller, and our emulator for the homework. We can click Apple Shift 4 and click and drag the whole screen. There we go. And we can close the simulator, save this, file save, and quit it. The last thing we need to do to upload is head over to Documents and compress our file. And this is the 2 things we're going to upload. Let's head over to Blackboard, and we're going to head over to Assignments, Partial 1. So here we have app 4 images. Browse my computer, head over to Documents, click the zip file, and lastly select the screenshot. And you're done.